Welcome everyone. We are here at the Lockville Park just outside of Canal, Winchester, Ohio, where we have more preserved locks from the Ohio-Erie Canal. It is so we're going to go check these out. There's a covered bridge over here as well that was moved from a previous location. But as you can see, we have all the fog coming in. Probably be around for another week or two, and then then it'll be winter. But we're here to check these out while the trees look amazing. So let's go do this. All right, so see the front of the park. Immaculate field over here. Get some really cool shots. They have these preserved all the way up here. See, this lock looks very well kept. This park's been here for a while, but I mean, this is all original here. They obviously kept it more as a park for this little small area here of Fairfield County, Ohio, just outside of Canal, Winchester. But there we'll get some more information about these locks. We gotta move this way. We're gonna read what the signs say. Alright, so here's some information here at the park. Got a tick alert, be tick smart. But yeah, I'm going to insert some pictures in here. One of them is located right here. But this is Lock 11. This is heading south from the Heath area where the canal construction started. So here the Fairfield County Park District kind of lays it out for us. The canals here, it's 11, 12, and 13. Locks 14 through 17 are just north of these, but are on private properties. So, what? In between here and Canal, Winchester, there are 3 more locks, but no access to them. And then we also have the Hartman No. 2 covered bridge, which was built in 1888 and then moved to this location 1967. It was located originally in Lancaster, just south of here. And then they also have a map of the canal in central Ohio. So you can see we've been to Lockbourne and Groveport. We're gonna hit Canal, Winchester here on the way back, but we have Lockville, that's where we're at, just north of Carroll, and then that heads on up the Licking Summit is what it's called. So it would go up the river, literally and figuratively. They would have to raise the water in order for the locks to be able to move these boats along up through the start of the Appalachian Mountains here in Ohio. So the stone kind of moved a bit. You can really kind of see how they constructed these, because they had stone cutters doing these off-site, and then them being brought here. Maybe not off-site, but like not located on the premises, but you can see the letter U here, and then the number 11. That's how they knew where to put the puzzle pieces together. So, from what I'm guessing is that appears that this here must have been kind of where people might have come up and come up here, walk, stop their boats here. Maybe I'm not sure what they would have. Maybe I figured it out, but these are this would be full of water, completely full of water here. Boats, you can see how wide it is. Boats would be coming up and down, going from Lake Erie all the way down to Portsmouth, south on the Ohio River. Yeah, so watch that. This is pretty deep, but this is extraordinary, honestly. Here is just a perspective of how tall these things are. I only go up to about a third stone, and then there's 3 more up there, so that's probably 12, and then a base layer that's probably half a foot. I would probably say this is probably, oh gosh, probably at least 10 to 12 feet. You can see just what the stone cutting is on here. It's very precise. Time really hasn't withered a lot, because this would be getting pounded by water. There would be a lot of erosion happening, but I mean, you can see some kind of fauna on there. But yeah. So this is middle of the canal here. So it looks like it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 stones tall. Here is the middle of the canal. See lots of cobwebs here, but I mean, it would be hard to tell what this was if you didn't know what it was, from the road here. You would have these giant pieces of wood. They would come right here where this triangle is. It would close off and the water would come up. The boat would come through, and then through the canal here, the doors would shut, cutting this off. So it wouldn't go all the way to the top, but you can see this is kind of a downward slopes from here. I think elevation is slightly more this way than it is on this side. But so if you remember from our previous videos, Groveport up the road here is Lock 22. And if this is in the 10s, means we're getting closer to the looking summit. But boats would start here and then come in through here, because it dips south a little bit in Carroll, which is, this is the jurisdiction we're in here. That is where that's where they would come from down south, and they come in through here, and then it jets out east, and then it starts heading back northwards because it goes up the Groveward and comes down here south. So yeah, let's take a walk through here. Fall colors though, it cannot be beat right now. Alright, so this is decently long. This is the longest one I think we've seen intact so far. The bottom here has dirt, grass has grown in and whatnot, but this would all be made out of wood down here, and it would be, it would be, that's how they would be able to not destroy the boats necessarily if they would touch the bottom. That would be my guess, but I think that's pretty cool. So along the side here, you can see these kind of streaks that go through the stone. That is from the water. So you can see where water has eroded the sides here and have created grooves and, divots, and, that could be taken out by a boat. Someone messed up right here and scratched the side. They weren't indestructible, but you can tell that wood scraped these. You can tell exactly what the perpetrator was. And not every stone has been complete, isn't perfect. So you can see there's a giant crack through that one, crack through here. You can see all kinds of just stuff that's down at the bottom. It's eroding away the bottom. But, just imagine stories that these walls could tell from all the way back to the 1830s and 40s when the canal opened. So my guess here is that this is where there was another set of locks that would close this off. So it would have to go up, heading to the left of us. So the lock up front would stop, and then this would be in the way. That would even out this section that the boat had come into. Once the back locks are closed there, then the locks up here would open up, and then this would have to fill up to meet the level to continue on the path from here. So you can see, people would be coming in from both ways. It would be one boat at a time, and people would have to wait, and this is kind of like what that town is as well. But you can see just a lot of this has been dislodged from vegetation and whatnot, but some of these have been dislodged from boats hitting them and all kinds of different things. But then you would have doors that would come out to here, and then once the levels were at the right point where the boat could go through, then these would open up, and then you would just mosey along. Really kind of an easy way, but at that point it was really manual and it was time consuming. It took weeks to really use the canals. It was a journey to go through the canal system. You know, and that came with its, you know, limitations on money and, you know, economics, but a lot of people used the canals and they were cheap for a long time, and that's why they outlasted. They were able to operate while railroads were growing and just becoming more and more of a thing. But yeah, this is just one of the 3 locks here. So let's continue on. I'm going to take some photos, but wow, this is an amazing piece of history here, just, you know, 15 minutes down the road from where I live. Really take in the true massive size of this transportation system that is now just here, like ruins from ancient times in Greece. This was only defunct about 100 years ago, so up until about 100 years ago there were boats coming in and out of these canals, not just in Ohio but throughout the United States as well. You really wonder, who are the people that built this canal? Because they had to dig this ditch out at some point. You know, this was man-made here. It connected various waterways and rivers and streams, but it was completely man-made. So who built? Maybe we'll have to do some research, come back to you and fill you in on who built these, because it'd be interesting. We always know that how American history goes. The people who build things aren't usually the ones that get to enjoy them. So very neat. This structure, however, was actually here in 1967, I believe. They moved it here from Lancaster. That's probably another 15, 20 miles from here. But this is a covered bridge. You don't see these built anymore. So this is why they brought it here, to preserve it on, you know, with these canals. So you can go in here and, you know, it's well maintained and it's beautiful. But if you would like to do photos here, get reservations for something specific, you can call, you know, Fairfield County Park District and you can get set up. Getting into this light here, it's so sunny out today, but this is really cool. So imagine horse and buggies coming through here, and then eventually automobiles. You know, they would come through here, and the wood would be, you know, secured by these nuts and bolts. At the end of the day, it was the way it kept structure up together. The whole thing about this bridge, I mean, it's not cool, but like, people have etched their love into the side of the walls here. So I'm going to take a look at some of these, and you know, each of these have a story to tell as well. So here, JC sucks, KG and LH, MK and DK. Have some kind of sign written in here. Star, planet, sun, moon, Elise, Lee, Terra, Maya. If anyone knows what this means, let me know, because that is kind of weird. Not like bad, but like just kind of strange for that to be etched in here. Here we got JJ and KK. Or it could be JK. Who knows? But Greg and Gary were also here. And Tom. And Phil. And Hoob. Not sure who that is. C. Hodge and G. Craig here. Maybe that's the same Craig as... Or no, that was Greg. Gotcha. There's a butterfly up there. Probably put there by the parks. Then we have more here. We have Laney and Brian. They went with the classic pencil. Other people over here that have taken Ashley and Johnny, always and forever, first to tag the bottom. This was about a year ago. This must be their anniversary, but you can see it looks like they tried to do it with a crayon first. Ashley and Johnny, I love you, baby. Here you can see L, G, SR, and CP. You can tell this one was definitely older because people were using actual stuff. But like, look, it's Misty and PZ and CDZP and ADR. They have a lot of different letters. Oh, here's Greg again. Greg's going hard. Maybe Greg lives in the spider web. Yeah, so you can just see the size of this bridge here. See out in the Midwest beauty here. This is what we get to experience in the fall. But this bridge has also gone through a lot of season changes. They've seen a lot as well, so they have a lot of stories to tell. If you have the time to come see them, I highly recommend these two. We have a walk or two more coming up, but look at that big, beautiful yellow tree as well. So up here, there's the lock, but you can kind of see that this is a big mound here that is going to be containing all the water that the canal held in and sustained. It took a lot of manpower to get boats through these canals, but I mean, it took just as much work to go and just dig out all this area. Now there are beautiful parks to explore, but they once held a way bigger story and history that I'm here to help tell, I suppose. But 200 years, now they just sit here. It's crazy. So this one is looking a little bit more worn, definitely. But this is an area that was getting a lot of water coming in and out, because they would have to come up, you know, they would have to at least, looks probably about 4 or 5 feet of water for them to continue on through the log this way. So water was coming in and out throughout the day. Very much an economic powerhouse for the state of Ohio, and you know, therefore the Midwest. Anything that would come up and down or through Cleveland and other ports in Ohio, you know, these were very important structures and systems. This one is definitely showing a lean. You can see here. Actually fall in, not today, but you know, the sides are caving in. Maybe it's time for Carroll or unincorporated place of Lockville. Maybe it's time to give this canal lock some TLC. You can see in relation to the road here, I mean, this is right where it is. And I mean, it's not like, wow, this one's really interesting too. So it looks like those, yeah, it looks like the stones were laid into sections. Maybe if we come down to the bottom on this side, I'll be able to see a little bit better, but yeah, that is interesting. Just want to mention how and quiet most of these places are. They're free park areas, so you know, you can come at any time while the, you know, dusts are done, while the sun's up. But this is kind of a sliver of land that has become the home of these ruins of canal. We are from the top of, I think would be the south side of the canal. You can see how it is collapsed in. You can see that it's kind of, this is the only kind of mount, you know, elevation here, so this wasn't naturally like this, so they built it. They obviously had stone, and this might even be cement. Maybe they even put these here, but, or no, they carved out these giant chunks of rock with these cross sections built into them, and then they would put each individual, you know, had each individual section would get put in piece by piece, kind of like a puzzle. But you can see how large these stones are. It's just incredible. Think about moving giant stones nowadays. You would have to have some kind of forklift or something along those lines. But back then they just had very primeval ways to do it. You know, I hate to say it, but, you know, kind of primeval. But I mean, the ancient Egyptians did that and built the pyramids, so, you know, it's not like it wasn't undoable, but certainly made it that much incredible that, you know, humans accomplished that. Now here you can definitely see the lean. Here, the you know, these structures, although they were made out of tons and tons of stone, I mean, eventually that even gets taken over, so, you know, with lack of maintenance and whatnot, you can see it starting to cave in a little bit. But look on, this is incredible. I don't know if you noticed this here, but this is a curved section here. So my guess is that boats could come through here, and then, you know, really pull up. Maybe they pulled up here, and maybe this was a little resting area while, you know, they waited for others to go through. But you can tell some wood was here because it has left indentations and stains from over the years, and definitely water coming through. So from here all the way to where we are would be a giant gate that would keep all this water in, because down here this is prone to flooding at that point. If, you know, all the water from the top of the river came down here, or the canal. Continue. There's like one more, but I don't know if this is private property or not. I haven't seen any kind of markers, so I'm just going to walk along as if this is still the park, because it would probably be a boundary if it wasn't. Also, as you can see, I have misplaced the top of my microphones, so if the audio on this is not the greatest, I apologize, but you know, that's just kind of how it's going today. Person's house over here with a bunch of chickens. I'll be honest, those chickens kind of freak me out. Kind of inspiring all the other chickens. I don't think so, but it's kind of my initial thought. Alright, so this lock is definitely further down, obviously. You can see all the way down there. But, I mean, this would all be water flowing in through here. You know, definitely whenever they built this house, they took some of the dirt, flattened out the land a bit. But you can see, I mean, this definitely has an incline to it I'm walking on. But it's a nice walk, so don't think it's not a good walk. And yeah, as long as the weather's good, I highly recommend coming out here because these locks are very well preserved. These ones here seem to be really well intact. Not as much caving as we saw earlier at the other lock that was before this. Yeah, and, I mean, I'm trying to remain a bit quiet here because there are people's houses right next to here, so look at that. Yeah, these are very well intact. And you can also see a lot of scratches here and skids up against the stones from where ships would knock into the sides of it and, you know, hit it a bit. Coming on to the, what would be the southern end of this, park of canals, and there's actually a sign over here that was put at some point. It might be a historical marker, but we're coming down here to see that. Yeah. Oh, it's nice and cool. It's the temperature is just cooler. All right, so up here it says built July 1862 by the lessees of the Republic Works. Oh, the lessees of the Public Works, Samuel something. You can see it looks like might have been built in 1862. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to check and do some research and kind of figure out why or when all these locks were actually built, because a lot of them were built, but it wasn't connected all the way. But I know that it was completed in the 1840s, so I'm not sure. Maybe it was redone or added because they needed it. Yeah, these stones have definitely seen better days, and some of these are starting to lean in a bit, so just be aware of that if you come here. But you can see these are where more locks would be, and this would separate, you know, the lock that we just came from, the higher ground, and in between here and there was the same elevation, and then it would have to rise up a little bit more at the end of this lock. So it would go up here and then up there, and if you came back the other way, this would drain out. so then the boat would be at a lower elevation. But you can also see some marks here. I'm not sure if that was carved in or not. Definitely, you can see the KD down here, and then there's some writing right here. It's really hard to make out though. Those are probably stonemakers' marks. But all kept intact over the years. These stones got beaten up quite a bit, and you would have people and livestock pulling boats through these. It would take a while, and that's where villages along the locks and whatnot started popping up, because people would have to go somewhere in order to pass the time. So economies started booming once these were around, and really kept that's really kind of what Ohio was really built on, was the canals here. And like I've said in some of my other videos, railroads were constructed not very long after these were built. But for many years, the canal and the railroads worked together. It was a north and south pathway, was the canals through Ohio, and the railroads went east to west. So they complement each other for a while. Then eventually, once cars were started to get marketed and more modernized and mass produced, that's when the canals started to get taken out, swapped out with highways. A lot of the roads down here, in general, in different towns, they have Canal Street, Canal Road. The towns might be called some of the Canal Winchester. This was called Lockville. We had Lockbourne. So, that just shows kind of really the importance of the canal system in Ohio. Roads and names are named after it. And, just how the cities and villages were founded, all based on the canal system. That guy's cool, right? So when you're walking down here, kind of in the bottom, definitely watch your step, because this ground's really soft. So you can tell that this has been covered by water for a long time. And when it rains, very much moisturizes the ground, making it really soft. So just be careful when you're walking around here, because the ground could be a little wobbly. So as I come up this hill from down here, it's amazing the difference in the slope, or in the elevation of the land. Oh wow. There was just a blue jay, a beautiful blue jay that flew into that. Maybe you guys spotted that. Yeah, watch out, there are divots, especially up on top of the canals. But you can see, that they probably went 4 or 5 feet up in water, but it would, the water would go all the way up to the sides here, And I mean, people would send off. This is probably where a lot of people had boats docked, potentially. If they had somewhere to go around here, or if they lived around here. That's really cool. It's really cool. Just imagine all the stories. I mean, millions of people probably went through here. Now it's just me at this point. So here is the middle lock here, but you can see definitely still water collects down here. And I mean, it's just been carved out to be that way. Coming up, you gotta appreciate this late evening fall scenery here. I mean, this is peak Ohio autumn for sure. So definitely, if you're viewing this in the summer, spring even, fall, come out and see the locks, see the bridge. If you're in Columbus, I mean, this is only like 10 minutes from 270. It's off of Pickerington Road. That's where you get off of on 33, right past the Walmart area, Dill's Greenhouse, all past those, and then you're pretty much here. You have to take like one road other than that. But it's very secluded, not because it's bad, but because, I mean, not a lot of people head this way or even think that something like this could be just sitting in our backyards. It's honestly, I can't believe I'm 31, never came to see these locks. We learned about it in 4th grade and 3rd grade, but like, other than that, nobody ever told us about how that these things are still here. They're still here. I mean, our ancestors, even our family members, just like that car, just fly right on by without even thinking of it. Man, this was a very important part of Ohio's history. I'm glad I'm still able to see it, because these things are over almost 200 years old. Things don't last that long nowadays, so amazing to see these still here. Well, that's going to do it. Thanks for joining me as I journey through the locks here at Lockville Park, part of the Fairfield County Parks District. If you want to come out and see these, it's completely free, and it is part of history. These parks are nice. They keep them here to bring people here and appreciate the people who came before us and how we got here and how we got to where we are now in our country. So that being said, thanks for joining. Let's meet again sometime for another stroll through history.